Hello, and welcome to another video. This one I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on these two sets of books. And you might have seen them everywhere. They're pretty popular, especially within the Beautiful Feet collection. But I did not purchase these as part of the Beautiful Feet curriculum. I am going to be sharing with you what we have read and our thoughts on them, so stay tuned. I think also within the Charlotte Mason Ambleside Online curriculum that these are more popular, and I wanted to have them on our shelves. I thought it would be a really good geography and history for my year 1 and year 2 student. So I'm just going to give you what we have read and how we have liked it, and we have not read them all, just throwing that caveat out. So let's start with this one. This one we read last year in our 2016-2017 school year, and we absolutely loved it. It is the journey of this canoe. His name is Paddle to the Sea, and he is a carved wooden boat with Indian figure. And he starts at the top of the Great Lakes. So his journey is around the Great Lakes. So Wisconsin, Michigan, and so on and so forth. Lake Superior all the way to the Atlantic Ocean is what it says. But it mainly covers your Great Lakes. Okay, and we just read this, and the thing that everybody took home with it wasn't so much the geography, it's the fact that behind our house, or I'm sorry, behind our street, there is a house with a paddle that looks just like this out front in the yard, and the kids absolutely loved it, loved walking over there and seeing it. And I literally just read the story. I didn't fully use this to my advantage, and I would recommend that you do that. Have a map and then you follow Paddle to the Sea. I wish I would have done that, but I didn't. But in all honesty, there's so much going on right now that it wouldn't have taken much time. But it's just one more step for me to do right now, and I just didn't have the time or energy to add one more thing. But we've done that one. In our science, we went through the tide pools of Pagoo. So this one is more geography. This one is more science. This is about a hermit crab and his life in the tide pool. And we really, really enjoyed that one. There was a lot of overlapping with this and our swimming creatures of the 5th day curriculum from Apologia. I will say that we did more of the drawings from this, and everybody really enjoyed that. And then currently we are on Men of the Mississippi. This works really well also with science, but also with if you are doing a Lewis and Clark study. I think this would work really well with it. It just seems to kind of follow along with that. So Lewis and Clark traveled here to the Pacific, and this is going from the top of Mississippi all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. So we're really enjoying that. We're about that far. I can't tell you much about this. I believe this is a more historic book. So this watches the pageant of history on a cottonwood tree watches a pageant of history on the Santa Fe Trail for 200 years is what it says. And that is all I know about it. I know that this one, I believe is used in year 1 of Ambleside Online. So we'll be doing that one. And then this one is kind of the development of our modern machinery. So this one would be probably more history as well. But look, there's whaling ships and things like that. So a carved ivory gull is the mascot for 4 generations of seafarers aboard a whaler, a clipper ship, a steamer and an airplane. So that is going to be another one that we do. And most of these, I think, have the Caldecott honor. This one did. This one does not. And that one's supposed to be a pretty thick one. This one does. And that one does. So 3 out of 5 have the Caldecott. Anyway, we have loved these. There hasn't been one that we just haven't really enjoyed. And it's interesting to me how many times we will find something to relate to what we have learned here. Okay, so these are the more history books, and it will take you, I think, basically up to the Wild West. So we have Buffalo Bill. Oh, excuse me. These are all by Hollings, Clancy Holling, and these are all by the Ingrid and Edgar Parent-Doulaire. And so this one is Buffalo Bill, so that'll be Wild West. Abraham Lincoln, who was just before Wild West, and this one a Caldecott. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, Pocahontas, Columbus, and Leif the Lucky. Now, out of these books, the ones that we have read have been Leif the Lucky. We really enjoyed this one. It's just a simple retelling with these illustrations of who Leif the Lucky was and the Vikings and some of their beliefs. And the whimsical illustrations are just amazing. Oops. So, we also have done Columbus. Again, the illustrations are just, I think it's one of the things that just really capture our children and their imagination. And these are written in a very thorough but simplistic way. With this one, Pocahontas really didn't like clothing, so they do, I could see this being a problem for some, but, like, you don't really ever see what you think you might, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like Adam and Eve and in the garden. You know, there's always something covering. What are you doing? Then from there we had George Washington. Now, I don't think we read this one, but I think we've read the other ones. We had another George Washington one that we ended up doing. But along the same lines, again, fantastic childlike illustrations, because these don't just give the biography of a certain character. They will also give you a little bit of the times and maybe more of the culture in them. And that's what I really love about these. Benjamin Franklin. You know what? I don't think we read this one either. I don't think we got to these. But again, with this one, you're just going to learn more about him other than he was one that dealt with a kite and sailed, or was part of the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. Abraham Lincoln. Again, you're going to get more of the times, more of who he was, the character of him, and all that. And then this one won the Caldecott Medal. And then finally, Buffalo Bill and the Wild West. With my 6-year-old, we're just going to start working our way through these and creating just a very simple timeline for our American history, which honestly we have completed with this year with all the other ones, but this is just going to be his own thing. And we'll just read and narrate them. I'm mainly focusing on these right here. I'm not really focusing so much on this yet. But anyway, I wanted to share this with you because I do think they are a fantastic collection to have on your bookshelf. I knew I grew up with these, and they also have the Greek mythology, and I loved that one. I've always loved that one. And the Doulaire and Hollings really just give a good amount of information to children without it being so dumbed down that they're really not getting much of anything. But it's not an overload of information that they're trying to process so much. It does keep it very simple, and I think probably of all of them, the Hollings does tend to get a little bit more intense, but I have to be honest, as of yet, with the 3 out of 5 books, we haven't really struggled with narration in that. Alright, I just wanted to share these books with you. I really hope that this gave you more information. I know sometimes you see just quick blips of them in unboxing and in hauls, but maybe not so much of the content. One last thing. If you do use the Hollings, I think the most you're going to get out of them really is some of the illustrations that they have in these books, and just kind of create it with your nature journaling. I really think that will be the best way to get the much out of this, but I would also caution not to do so much that you take away the enjoyment of the story. To compare Hollings with another author that maybe is more well known would be Robert McCloskey, who did One Morning in Maine, Time of Wonder, and things like that. I think if you really like that author, Blueberries for Sal, Make Way for Ducklings. If you like that author, I think you will like this one. He tends to be a little bit older in his writings, not necessarily in time period, but in maturity. And then Dulaire just is a beautiful, whimsical, great biography for all ages. I enjoyed that as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you next time. Adios.